All right, all right. Let's try this. Not at night. Let's see. Are we good? One, two. Here we go. Three. So I'm gonna ask a question to no one that I already know the answer to. That's Are we live? I said, Are we live? Looks like we are. VigilanteWilliamson here on the second episode of my NFL Super Show. And similar to the first episode, we've had horrendous technical difficulties. So I actually recorded an hour and a half show in 3 parts. And then when I went to edit it together, the sound was fucked up because of this stupid. I still have it. Hopefully I got rid of it. At this stupid soundboard that I forgot about. And I guess it makes noises when I click on different scenes. So that fucked up everything. And that's just a preview of the box score. The first game we'll talk about, Cowboys and the Eagles. That said, this will probably still be about an hour and a half. We got 32 games to review. 16 last week, 16 next week, because the buys haven't kicked in yet. And just going to talk about the NFL, my thoughts. I actually did good as far as record since I've already gone through this. I know how many games I get right. I went 11-5 last week, which is a playoff year. So I went good as far as picking. I did not pick against the spread. I did not pick the scores, which I will start picking the scores, but I'm still not going to hold myself to the accuracy of the damn scores. It'll just be a bone. Oh, I was close. Oh, I was far away. Whatever. That said, the two teams that I picked to go to the Super Bowl, which are the Lions and the Texans, not so good. Both lost. The two backup teams, though, won, which we'll get into one of them soon here, but they're the Eagles and the Bills. I think the Eagles and the Bills, especially the Bills. The Bills, shout out to Alberto Del Rio, they're the team of destiny. I mean, there's no good team with a schedule this easy. They had really their hardest game was Sunday. They're not going to have another game on this schedule that's really worth a damn. I know that I say that the Jets look like they've improved. The Patriots may have improved, but they went up against a team that they lost to, so we'll see how the Patriots do. The Dolphins have not improved. They are probably a worse team. And that is the fate I hope Ben Johnson will one day face, but we got to help that. So in any event, let's just get into the games because this is going to take some time. And hopefully people can join us. I like doing these a little earlier in the day. Let's get into the first game of the week. It was last Thursday. Dallas Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles. First off, let's also continue to applaud my record and how great I am. So, yeah. Again, the scores I didn't pick. It just randomly generated. It's this site right here. So when you pick a team, which I can't go back to, but it just randomly generates the score. Though I can also add it in. I can manually change it. In any event, I think everybody picked the Eagles. I don't think anyone would have picked this close of a game, though you should. And if there is a reigning overview of this entire week, especially when it comes to my two teams, but I think the whole league, because when we get into these numbers, you'll see not too many quarterbacks or really too many running backs went over landmark numbers. The preseason exists for a reason. In a post-COVID world, we have coaches and everybody. We're not taking the preseason seriously. I know. We used to argue and complain about how useless preseason is. It has a purpose. The purpose is allowing your players to get back into shape and to get back into game shape after the break of the season. And too many teams, they just used camp. They didn't play in regular games. They didn't play in the preseason games. They played backups, and they did not play starters throughout the games. And I'm not saying you should have a starter go throughout the whole game, which I believe they may have still did in like the 80s. But after a while, we came to, the third game of the preseason, which in this case, since there's less preseason games, maybe use a second. But the third game, you play a half. It used to be, first preseason game, you may play a couple of drives. Second preseason game, you may play a couple of more, maybe a whole quarter. Third preseason game, you play close to a half with your starters. And was the protocol. And I think some form of ratcheting up. It may be a little different with 3, but maybe, first preseason game, play a quarter, second, play a half, and then the last game could be the one where you do a little bit more evaluating for the team. Instead, people use the preseason just to evaluate that 53-man roster, which I think needs to be expanded. 53 is not enough. Hey, Cotton, your favorite, the NFL, which is gay, as you've said, as it said. Shit, that's their thing, too. They put that rainbow logo on. But I still like it. I think it's rigged. I wouldn't suggest gambling on it, but it's still fun to see people get hit and people make big plays. So here I am, second episode of the NFL Super Show, and we're talking about everyone's favorite team, the America's team, if you will. The Dallas Cowboys losing their first game of the season to the champion Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts had 152 passing yards, no touchdowns, no picks. Is that sack? Was he sacked 8 times? Is that what that means? This is my first time using this thing. Let me see. I want to see 1 sack. I don't know what that 1 of 8 means. This is very weird. In any event, keep it going. Hey, Zombie, appreciate you being here. Dak Prescott had 188 yards, no touchdowns, no picks, no sacks, it looks like. But Jalen Hurts was able to help himself as far as rushing. 14 carries, 62 yards, 2 touchdowns. Saquon Barkley, who's on one of my fantasy teams, helped me out. 18 carries, 60 yards, a touchdown rushing, and didn't he catch another touchdown? He did not, but he caught at least another 4 passes. So PPR, so it still helps. And so it was just these the only touchdowns were scored was these rushing touchdowns, plus the field goal. Jalen Carter and Dak Prescott got into a spitting match. Spitting is the nastiest shit anyone could do. I wanted to kill. I'll never forget being on 77 in Charlotte, North Carolina. This guy is I'm trying to get into a lane. He's trying to come out of that lane. He spits at my car. Had I had a gun, I would have killed him and gone to jail the rest of my life because I think spitting is the worst. And cool, we got some music. Yeah. Shout out to you for working on music. I tried working on music. I've made more time to work on music. I have done some stuff. I'm just not impressed with any of it. But I do need to add drums to it too. So maybe when I add drums, I'll do more. Because that's my new gimmick, is to do all the melody parts and then one day just do drum programming, like 1 or 2 days a week. In any event, I'll check that out once we get a time for break. I was just complaining about I didn't get spat on, but spat at in my car. I think spitting is the worst. But it looked like, if you watch the tape, that Dak Prescott was also spitting. It's just nasty shit. Jalen Carter got thrown out. It didn't matter. The Eagles still dominated Dallas, though. To be fair to no sacks for the Eagles. They lost a lot of players on their defense and free agency. They don't look quite like the best defense on earth. Granted, again, their best defensive player isn't there, but they had a lot more defensive firepower last year than they do this year. Still good enough to win. Dallas, I don't think much of as a team. They do got those receivers. CeeDee Lamb balled out, but look at his 13 targets to 4 for George Pickens, who's the new receiver they brought in from Pittsburgh. Dak just going to reliable, spamming CeeDee Lamb. But boy, CeeDee Lamb had a lot of drops, especially late. One was a little bit more forgivable because it was kind of a diving play. The other 2 hit him right in his fucking hands, and he fucking dropped him. And nothing's worse than seeing a guy who makes millions of dollars to catch a fucking football, drop a football. Nothing will piss you off. But I don't like the Cowboys, so I'm happy to see them fail anytime. And that's what happened there, man. Eagles are the better team. I think it was an easy game to pick. I got it right, which is always important. Let's go back to the rest of the games. Then we had the Chiefs and Chargers, another game I got right. Let's go back to the box score. I'm going back to my little screenshot of my picks. See, don't ignore the score again because I didn't pick the score. But I did pick the team. Chargers. I want to call them San Diego Chargers, but they're the LA Chargers. Beat the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes actually did have a decent game. 1 touchdown, no picks. I don't know what this 2 or 9. I think it's only 2 sacks. Maybe of 9 hurries. I don't know what this shit means. Don't know, what does this mean? Whose idea was this? There's no explanation for this either. Why there's like, instead of just a solid number of sacks, it says 2 of 9. Like, are those 9? What do those 9 represent? I don't know. Maybe I'll know by next week. I don't feel like looking it up now. It's just stupid. Let me look on the other side on the defense. Yeah, the team only got 2 sacks. Oh, QB hits maybe? No, because that still doesn't match up. I don't fucking know what that means. I don't know. Maybe hurries. Maybe there's hurries. Let me see. Is there anything? QB hits, miss. PD. What's PD? Why does none of this explain? Okay. Whatever. Anyways, Patrick Mahomes had a pretty good game. Obviously wasn't enough. He had, 1 touchdown, no picks, sacked twice. It looks like, I guess, hit 8 times and whatever a PD is, which I don't know. Porn distribution, I have no idea what a PD is, and the website doesn't explain it. You're just supposed to know. Even though they make up these fucking stats, it's like, bro, I remember like sacks. I remember old shit like this because I'm old as fuck. But if you guys could let me know what the fuck these other stats are, I would fucking love to know that. Anyways, as far as going through the rushing, Patrick Mahomes was the leading rusher, 6 for 50, or at least for the Kansas City. 6 for 50. Was he leading rusher for both teams? It looks like he was. 6 for 57 and another rushing touchdown to help him out. Nobody else did really nothing rushing. Hollywood Brown did ball out as a receiver, 10 receptions, 99 yards, no touchdowns. You did have Travis Kelce, everyone's favorite tight end, or at least Taylor Swift's favorite tight end. He got a touchdown. Quentin Johnston had a pretty good game for LA, 5 for 79, 2 touchdowns. Justin Herbert had probably one of the best games of any QB outside of maybe Josh Allen last week, 300 yards, 9 yards average per play, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Looks like he was sacked 3 times at 14. What? I don't know, because this fucking website doesn't tell us, because ESPN is fucking trash, which should be a shock to no one. Keenan Allen, who's just got back there, he used to play there. He went to the Bears. Now he's back. He had 7 for 68 plus a touch. And that was that. The Chiefs, who I did initially pick to beat. Well, I not only did I pick them to win this game, they're one of the teams I was able to make a video about. I picked them in that video to win this division. Now, with some injuries, I got scared off last week when I was picking the playoff teams and picked the Chiefs to win the division, but it still would not shock me if I was right the first time. Najee Harris, he only had 1 carry, but he had this fireworks accident where he blew up something and messed up his vision. And at first, people were saying he was done forever and he's never going to play again. And then they were saying, well, he'll play the first game. And he did play the first game. He only had 1 carry. But I don't know. That's my whole thinking of the Chargers is them having this rookie in Hampton and this experienced running back in Najee Harris, and them having a really good running game. And that's not what happened today, or Friday, I should say. Justin Herbert just kind of balled out. And to be fair, it was almost similar to the Super Bowl, at least from Kansas City standpoint, where defensively they went so hard in stopping the run that they were weak against the pass. I know it's the most classic, basic shit of, use the run to set up the pass, but they were so balls in on stopping the run that Justin Herbert were able to throw all over him. So we'll see what Najee Harris happens, or what happens with Najee Harris. I still think they got somebody on the offensive line that's injured. But, hey, I picked them right, so that's all that matters. I'm right. Let's keep this going. I got this one wrong as far as the Falcons and Bucks. Let me see if I can bring out my slide. And you can see all the trash that I have on one of my desktops. I have 2. So I picked Atlanta because Atlanta had swept the Bucks last year. I was wrong. I almost that score, even though I don't have it. No, that score is different. Never mind. Bucks in a close game. Squeak out against Atlanta. Baker Mayfield, 3 touchdowns, so he did have that. Only sacked once, no picks. Not a ton of yards, not the best completion percentage as far as accuracy is concerned, but was good enough today. Like I said, everybody is kind of off. Like a lot of these numbers look kind of pitiful. Well, except I say that Michael Penix had almost 300 yards, but still a lot of attempts to get there. 42 attempts, touchdown, no picks, which is impressive when you throw the ball 42 times, no picks. Sacked once. I don't know what that 9 means still, but like a lot of the teams, you just look quarterbacks under 200 yards, not doing well in the rushing game. Bucky Irving didn't, shout out to my fantasy team, didn't do that great as a passer, but did catch a touchdown, which helped the rest of his game being kind of weak, or as a receiver, I should say, or as a running back. 14 carries, 37 yards, only 2.6 average. Baker Mayfield helped his case the most, 5 carries, 39 yards. Had a 20-yard run. As far as Bijan Robinson, he did nothing as far as the fantasy-minded folks. Bijan did nothing as a running back, 12 for 24, only 2 yards a carry, but he did everything as a pass catcher. Was a leading pass catcher. 6 for 100 yards and a touch, so there you go there. And I think he might be on one of my teams. I got 6 fantasy teams. I went 5-1, but only 1 and 2 of the paid leagues. So I got the paid leagues are the ones that matter. In any event, the rest of each offense, Ibuka, who's a rookie and a lot of people's fantasy guy, he got a couple touchdowns for Tampa Bay. I think Chris Godwin might be back soonish, but he still stepped up and stepped in. And like I said, Bucky Irving got another touchdown. Mike Evans reliable, 5 for 51 on the Atlanta side. Again, Bijan dominated. Kyle Pitts, everyone's favorite tight end, not really. Even though I think fantasy tight ends, you got to realize that they don't put up the same numbers as receivers most of the time. But Kyle Pitts had a good rookie year years ago, and everyone's hated him since for not quite living up to that. But he had a solid game, 7 for 59 yards. Drake London, who's the star, had a little bit of an injury, 8 for 55, no touches. Anything remarkable? They had a sack. Hassan Reddick had a sack, the guy who held out, if you remember, last year. He held out most of the season, ended up playing some year with the Jets. And then Billy Bowman Jr. and Divine Diabo split a sack. So not much from that point. Any picks? Anyone? No picks for nobody. So there's that. I picked it wrong. AFC South is going to be a little bit more interesting than it was last year. Here's something I got. I got these next two games right. Again, ignore the scores. Bengals and Cleveland. Somebody has to win. Skibbity, Ohio Reds, and all that other good stuff for the kids. If you're a fantasy guy, you probably feel jobbed out because Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase and Chase Brown, a lot of people thought these guys, T. Higgins even, a lot of people thought these guys were going to be fantasy superstars, and they probably will as the season goes on. But this first game, I mean, Joe Burrow really did a whole lot of nothing. 113 yards. He did get a touchdown. He got sacked 3 times. This offensive line, like I said, isn't good. That's why I said, actually, in my fantasy video, that's why I said don't pick Chase Brown. Not Chase. I actually didn't mention Chase Brown, but I did say don't pick Jamar Chase, number 1, and he showed me to be right. I'm right about certain things. I'm wrong about something, and I'm going to tell you either way. So I was right about maybe not picking Jamar Chase number 1 overall. Noah Fant grabbed the only touchdown receiving. Chase Brown did get a rushing touchdown, so he wasn't terrible. I mean, he did 21 carries, only 43 yards. Is not great. But he at least got a touchdown, and those 2 touchdowns and the field goals all they needed because they were going against the fucking Browns. Flacco did have a ton of yards, 290 yards, 1 touchdown, but 2 picks. And Ayo from Zombie Man, what's up? And like I said, I'll play. Hopefully, sometimes I'll play the song afterwards. I can play a song after this. I'm just going. All I'm doing is going through the games from last week, giving my thoughts, and then talking about next week. That's all we do. It just takes forever because there's so many fucking games. Because we do, that's the gimmick of football. They do all the games one day. Everybody watches that one day. That's what makes it so crazy. They charge for Sunday ticket. Because it's only for 4 months. It's only 18 episodes of Sunday ticket, and they want to charge you hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Same with Red Zone. It's only 18 episodes a year, and they want to charge you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars. Unfucking real. Unreal. Flacco, going back to him, touchdown but 2 picks, got sacked a couple times. I'll never know what that 12, this other number means. Dylan Sampson was the best rusher, 12 for 29. Again, you're just not seeing big numbers. Raheem Sanders did have a touchdown rushing. Jerry Jeudy, which helped out my fantasy team, 5 for 66. Dylan Sampson, 8 for 64. Shout out to PPR. Cedric Tillman, 5 for 52 plus a touchdown. But, again, all these teams, and granted, these, Cleveland and Cincinnati. Well, Cincinnati's thought to be something. Cleveland's not really. But all these teams are kind of off. They all kind of played mid, and they all played like they hadn't played in a couple years. Or hadn't played in a year because they don't use the preseason properly, and we saw a lot of that. I predicted this. I thought it would actually be a shootout. We didn't get a shootout from this game. We got that from the Steelers and Jets game, which I'll talk about. But now we got to talk about something else I got right, or at least hopefully we'll get right. But just that the Colts would be better than what people thought, and that Daniel Jones will play much better when he's in a better situation, which he did. 33 points he led this team to 8 against the Dolphins that look quite a mess. Tua Tagovailoa, he kind of looks like all those blows to the head have already gotten to him. I hate saying that. He got sacked 3 times again today or on Sunday. Devin A-Chain actually had a decent rushing game, but they weren't in position to kind of use him as a rusher. 7 carries, 55 yards. And then, Malik Washington had a carry for 9 yards. They could have done something with the run game if they had more opportunities. Tyreek Hill didn't really do much as a receiver, 4 for 40. Jalen Waddle didn't do much, 4 for 30. Devin A-Chain, again, one of the better offensive players, got 3 for 20 as far as receiving, and he got the long touchdown that Miami was able to get. As far as rushing, Jonathan Taylor had a pretty good game. Could have done a little bit better for my fantasy, but I'll take it. 18 carries, 71 yards, no touches. And then they got 2 rushing touchdowns from Daniel Jones, helping his own cause. Let's see. Michael Pittman had a pretty good game for the fantasy guys, 6 for 80 plus a touchdown. And how many targets? 8 targets. This one, when I recorded this earlier and fucked it up, I didn't have access to the targets. I was using different stats or different site for the stats. As far as the sacks, Indy had 3, and it looks like Miami only had 1. Bradley Chubb got the lone sack for Miami. Samson Ikebom, probably messing up his name. Nick Cross and Kenny Moore got the sacks for sacks for Indianapolis. Does this not have picks? I like seeing the picks. Oh, it does have interceptions. Cam Bynum and I'm not gonna mess up his name. Cam Bynum and Double L, because I'm gonna mess his name up. Don't want to do that. They got the picks off of Tua. It's starting to feel like I'm just going through stats and not really talking enough about the actual games, because stats can only tell you one thing. I didn't see the whole game. I saw parts of it, just like everyone else, and seeing highlights. Like I said, Tua just doesn't look right. He doesn't look. He's definitely not the guy he was a few years ago. I don't know if it's just from the hits. I predicted Indy to have an improved defense and be an improved team. A lot of people are shocked by this. I'm not. If you watch my content, you would know to look for Indianapolis to improve. When I made their video, I said they would be in the playoffs. I kind of backed off that last week. I'm still not sure because the AFC is going to be tough, but they're going to be a above 500 team. That I'm still sticking with. Rather than they win enough games to battle everyone else for the playoffs, that I'm not sure, but they'll be above 500. They'll win at least 9 games. That I still feel confident with. And you would know that if you listen to me. You would know this is not a shot. You would know that Daniel Jones got blamed for way too much in New York. And here's another meta thing that's going across the league. I think at a certain point, and I'll talk more about it when we talk about Tennessee specifically, we got to stop putting all these pressure on these quarterbacks and just saying, okay, we're going to take a quarterback straight from college, put him in a horrible situation, and hope that he fixes everything. I keep saying this. The NFL is not the NBA, and hell, the NBA is not even the NBA anymore. You cannot just draft one player and solve all your problems. It doesn't work like that. Even you look at the Colts years ago when they had Peyton Manning, it took them years. They drafted him in 98. He didn't win a championship to 2006, right? So it was almost a decade later, 8 years later. And even then, he didn't start going to the playoffs, I think, to 2000, 2001. So his first few years, you know, you were drafting Edgerrin James and Marvin Harrison, then later on Reggie Wayne, who himself wasn't a good rookie. And it just takes years to develop everything and to get something going, even when you do have a good quarterback. And we've totally lost that. We think the quarterback's going to save everything. That's why everybody hates Caleb Williams right now. That's why everybody hated, what's the guy, Will Levis for Tennessee. It's like it takes a lot. And so Daniel Jones was not in a situation where he could win in New York. He is with Indianapolis. I'm not sure if he's going to be the long-term guy, but they're going to win at least 9 games. That's my prediction. A couple other teams I think will have pretty good years. Oh, yeah, I forgot to play your song, so hopefully Zombie Man's here. Let's play some Zombie Man so I can go grab my phone, turn that shit off, and then I'll get back to give you guys these scores. If Zombie Man's here, because I know this is not everyone's favorite podcast. Oops. So let's play some Rhythm, IDO2. And then, yeah, Zombie Man is here. Got a yup. All right, cool. So you get to see me play your music, and then we'll be back here covering it. Do you even care about sports, brother? Are you a big sports guy? Answer that while I play Rhythm, O2, and then we'll be back on the Super Show when we get done. Dubstep. Rhythm, ID02, Id02, and hey, both Dempsey's here at the same time. Apparently Zombie's not a big football fan. Dempsey, you a big football fan? And y'all doing another project this year? If y'all ain't starting me, I got a couple months for Halloween. Speaking of projects, I am shout out to Cinch Dildo. He told me to look things up. I'm probably not going to release on Spotify. I think Spotify's had its day. There's no point in releasing on Spotify. It's just extra work. You really used to be a football fan? To be honest, I still am one. No way near, even though, now the Lions are good, but no way near what I was. You said when kneeling got to you and never really got back to it. I know a lot of people, it took a while to get back into it. And kneeling, I left before the kneeling. I keep saying that. Even though I think the kneeling was overrated. It's just, I don't know. That was a psyop. But I just left when they started to really soften the rules and the catches weren't catches, and that was it. And then the next year, I think was the first kneeling year. I think I talked about this the other day. And then there was all sorts of stuff. No one actually talks about how Marshawn Lynch was the first to kneel and people love him. It's just, there was so much psyop shit with that kneeling shit. Yeah, you didn't miss a lot. Well, except the Lions, which it looks like it might be over. We had 2 years of being good. It might be over. We got to get talking about that. Browns actually did make the playoffs a couple years ago. It had a pretty good defense. And now that, it was a close game. But yeah. Flacco, he had 290 yards. Yeah. I just talked about that game. Had 290 yards. He had one of the best yardage games of the year because all these quarterbacks suck this early in the season because nobody plays preseason anymore. So the first few games are your preseason. But yeah, 6.4 yards per is not that great. And then he threw 2 picks. Go back to the box score just to verify that. He actually played way better than Burrow as far as yardage, but really it was just Chase Brown running the ball and them being able to get through drives. They were able to get to more drives than and did they miss an extra point? Is that what happened? Yeah, it looks like there was a missed extra point. Or did they go for 2? What happened here? So, yeah. They missed 2 kicks, yeah. So, really, kicking killed them with this one. They missed the field goal, and they missed the extra point. And if they make both of those, they win this game. Really, Cleveland should have won, even with the picks. Even with the 2 picks, they make the kicks and the extra point. They're fucking good. So, really, the kicker fucked up. Joe Flat, what do you think about the whole Shador hype? Since you're a Cleveland guy. And I got someone to talk to because, there's some people that like football, but none of them are here. Maybe because this is not the usual time for me to be streaming. Because I kind of think not feeling the hype. Yeah, I'm kind of wondering, like, of all the hype is phenomenal. I was just talking about with Daniel Jones, who was much maligned in New York, and now he's the coach, and I think they're going to be a better team with him. And I could even talk about the guy he replaced. It's like, man, these quarterbacks, they don't grow on trees, and if your team is shitty, no matter how good the quarterback is, you're going to be shittier. So it's like, I just think the quarterback hype in general is like, you got a good team around it. Because part of that is going, and I'll go ahead of myself. Where's your Titans and Broncos? I don't know if you saw any highlights of that. Fucking all those drops they have for Cam Ward. Plus, he got sacked. I'll go to that game now and just skip it when we go. Cam Ward, I mean, you look at his stats. 12 for 28, 112 yards, 6 sacks. I don't know that's for 50 yards. Maybe that's the yardage. I have no idea what this extra number is. Got sacked a bunch, but boy, did Calvin Ridley targeted 8 times, 4 receptions. A lot of those are drops, man. He had it, and he wasn't the only one. Look at this. Look at Aylmeyer. 7 targets, 2 catches. All these drops, and it's like Tyler Lockett, he did get a target, no catch. All these drops that this guy had, all these sacks, there was nothing he could have done. He had no fucking chance. And I know Denver has a good defense, but Cam Ward had no fucking chance. Flacco made both the QBs look like high schooler. Flacco was the best. He's the best option. I know he's old, but he can still throw the ball pretty far. And if it wasn't for the picks, y'all would still be, y'all could have won the first game. Y'all had there was no reason for y'all not to win the first game, even with what was going on. But yeah, I don't know why. I think Dylan Gabriel's trash. I think Shedeur, man, it was weird what happened in the draft. But I think there's even a video of me saying I didn't really look at Shedeur as that high of a prospect. I did not look at him near as the high as a prospect as Cam or even Jackson Dart or even Jalen Milroe, just because of athleticism. Because all 3 of those away math. Now, Jalen Milroe, I know he's from Houston. Man, he can throw the ball far, but not accurately. Jackson Dart, I was worried about him. I'm still worried about him reading a defense because he played in Ole Miss. I think if they throw him into the fire too much, he'll fail. Say, hey, Jake D, a wild Jake D appears. Appreciate it. That same old cardiac kids shtick, same old. Man, I don't know. But yeah, just the stories of the day as far as football is they fucking need preseason because everybody looks shitty. And mostly, we go through these numbers, there's not a lot of quarterbacks that had over 200 yards. Even Bo Nix, 25 for 40, 176 yards. Had a running back average, 4.4 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 picks. Because actually, Tennessee had a decent defense last year, yardage-wise, points-wise, they sucked. So he didn't have Bo Nix didn't have a good game. R.J. Harvey, the rookie, had a pretty good game. Him and J.K. Dobbins kind of combined for some good yardage. R.J. Harvey, 6 carries, 70 yards, which is nuts. Had a 50-yard run, which bolstered that. And then J.K. Dobbins, 16 for 63, plus a touchdown. Cortland Sutton, good for the fantasy team, had a touchdown, plus 61 yards. Though I think he might have been on my bench, which is stupid. And, I mean, they didn't really have the best offensive game. But fucking Tennessee, I mean, they just dropped the ball. They got a good quarterback, and they just let him get killed and didn't catch the ball for him. And I would seriously consider requesting a trade. And I just really think we got to rethink how I say we like I control the goddamn thing. They got to rethink how they do quarterbacks, man, because it just seems like they just throw quarterbacks into the fire. And if they don't turn to Peyton Manning, then they're like, oh, you're fucked. So to get back on track where we were with games, how did I pick that game? I think I picked it right. Oops. Here's my screenshot of picks to show some, and they're not in quite the same order. So what was that? The Broncos and Broncos. I had the Broncos over the Titans, and then I had Cincinnati over Cleveland. And then I got this one wrong. I thought New England would come together for the Raiders. The Raiders did. I do have both of these teams as improved. So I don't know who's going to make the playoffs as far as the wild card at the AFC. Excuse me. This could be a game that we look back on and could end up deciding playoff or not. Or maybe not. Maybe both teams are still trash. We'll see. But the Raiders won. Geno Smith actually had one of the better games as far as yardage goes. 362 yards, 24 for 34. Did throw a pick. I think this is the yardage, 4 for 29 as far as getting sacked. So he did throw a pick, did get sacked a bunch, did throw a touchdown as well. He threw that touchdown to Trey Tucker, 2 for 54. They had some pretty big numbers. Jacoby Myers had a big game, 8 for 97. Brock Bowers, the stud tight end, 5 for 103. Ashton Genty didn't have the best game for his rookie. A lot of hype for him. 19 for 38, but he did get a touchdown, so that's always cool, especially for the fantasy guys. Drake May didn't have a terrible game. 287 yards. Did throw the ball a ton, and you want to get more from the running game, so you don't have to, especially in a game where you're pretty close most of it. 1 pick, 1 touchdown, 4 sacks. That sucks. Travion Henderson, 5 for 27, no touches rushing at all. Who did he throw his touchdown to? Demario Douglas, who had -2 yards. So that's crazy. Kayshawn Booty, 6 for 103. Hunter Henry, another pretty big tight end, 4 for 66. Going back to the defense, looks like each team had 4 sacks. You got Jalen Hawkins, Harold Landry III with 2.5, and the other half sacks was Kalavon Jason. We in the we in Kid Pill territory with that name, Kalavon. And then Tyree Wilson had a sack. Malcolm Kuntz had a sack on Vegas. Jonah Lalu had a sack, and then Max Crosby, of course. They need to let the linemen juice. It doesn't matter if they letting them juice or not. I think the linemen are juicing, both offense and defense. Make everyone the Dallas line from the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s. I think offensive line has gotten so much worse. Jacoby is money. Yeah, I like Jacoby Myers. But I think what's happened with offensive line is really defensive line has gotten so good. And as far as juicing, I think everybody's juicing. I would be shocked if there's a player in the NFL who's on no pharmaceutical enhancement of any kind. I would be absolutely gobsmacked, shocked, especially if it was like an elite player. I just could not believe it. I would not believe it. I've accepted that long ago. And yeah, these backs are just look. And that's another reason. Look at these fucking edge rushers, man. They are like superhumans, and that's been the big thing when going back to when I kind of stopped watching football. And it was a number of reasons. It wasn't just. It was one of the reasons. It was the cord got cut for me. You know, a lot of people talk about cutting the cord. I was living on my own at the time, and I could not afford cable. So there was that. On top of not being able to afford cable, I didn't really know about pirate and didn't have the desire to pirate because of, they were clearly changing the rules to be more pass friendly and more yards friendly and more offensive friendly, and I just didn't like that. Yeah, it's like everybody's a Ronnie Lott. Everybody is a Lawrence Taylor. Everybody. Every team has at least 2 guys that run a 4.40 and there's like 260 pounds and can get to the quarterback. Every team gets a Dwight Freeney now. Every team. And so as a result, there's no way you're going to have your offensive line, at least 1, if not 2. And so then that's before you start doing blitzes and stunts and all this other crazy shit. So if your offensive line doesn't give up a sack in any given game, that's fucking incredible. You're almost guaranteed to be sacked twice just because. Every game. You're almost guaranteed to be sacked twice every game, no matter who you are, no matter how good your offensive line is. And so that's the baseline. And then some teams are worse. Some teams are giving up more than that. Like I said, both of these teams gave up 4 sacks. And, yeah, Max Crosby is a name. He got 1 of them. Harold Landry's a good player. He got 2.5 of them. And listen, New England put a lot into this defense. They kind of held up. You got sacks. You got a pick. Your offense got to put more than 13 points on the board. They put up a bunch of yardage, but not enough points. So that's what happens. Yeah, they're all Ronnie Lotts. And I mean, I know they're not as great, but just the athleticism. Like, we have every edge rusher is explosive. And I like I said, I think they're already juicing. I don't know what these offensive lines are going to do about it. And I think that's a big issue for a lot of teams, including my 2 Super Bowl teams that we'll get into shortly. What do you got? Cardinals and Saints. I kind of picked both of these teams to be terrible, and the Cardinals are just less terrible than the Saints. So Kyler Murray, Didn't have the greatest game, which he doesn't. 163 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Got sacked 5 times, which that happens. He did help himself out with 7 rushes for 38 yards. Trey Benson was the leading rusher, 8 carries for 69 yards. James Conner, old reliable, 12 for 39. Alvin Kamara had a decent game, I should say. 11 for 45, but he got a touchdown. And then no touchdown, but still got 2 for 12 as a receiver. Spencer Rattler, the fact that he threw no picks is probably impressive. He got sacked once. Threw the ball 46 times, though, so not that accurate. A lot of throws going nowhere. Jawan Johnson had a decent game. You know what I mean? They got a couple of field goals. The defense did get a bunch of sacks, so give them that. Carl Granderson, 1.5 sacks. Pete Warner got a sack. Cameron Jordan got a sack and a half. He's still there. Cameron Jordan, all reliable. Alante Taylor got a sack. So they still was able to do something defensively. Buda Baker got tackled for loss, no sacks. Baron Browning got the lone sack for Arizona. So Arizona played good enough to win. So good enough, good for them. I'm not thinking much of them as a team, though. Hey, Forbidden Ruin, calling everyone slurs. And that's another thing that you're right. QB mobility has gone up in popularity last decade or two, so in response, they got highly mobile backs to compensate. Yeah, a lot more speed. And if you look at the defense in general, they're a lot smaller. You on the D line, you'll have big guys, but you don't see linebackers built like Ray Lewis anymore. There's very few of them. If they are, they're on the edge. You don't have middle linebackers built like that. They're a little bit smaller. A lot of middle linebackers will be safeties in the old game. And a lot of safeties are basically just extra DBs now. There's some exceptions where you have maybe the hard-hitting safety. But like that trope of a hard-hitting safety, you're not even picking safeties to hit hard anymore. You're picking them to more play like off ball and try to get picks. You like everything's about like the Micah Parsons type guys. We got Aiden Hutchinson. I mentioned Max Crosby. But I mean, I guess what's his name? Parsons got some size on him, but the rest of them are pretty. I say small. I mean, they're fucking 6'3" and 240, but comparatively to the players of yesteryear, a little bit smaller, but a lot quicker. So where were we? Mentioned the Patriots, Cardinals, Saints. Oh, this game was a pretty fun game. I saw this. I said that the Steelers would be a much better team. But I was assuming that they were going to be able to run the ball and stop the run, which they're known for. Instead, Aaron Rodgers had a blast from the past. He was partying like it's 2019 or 16. 4 touchdowns, no picks, 244 yards. Aaron Rodgers, believe it or not, when he was playing for the Jets last year, because this was kind of a rivalry game because they accidentally switched quarterbacks, and both quarterbacks had a pretty good game, but I'll get on the Jets side in a second. He had top 10 numbers as far as yardage and touchdowns. He was still a top 10 quarterback, believe it or not. That wasn't reported at all by ESPN, but he has more tread on the tire, even though this is probably going to be his last run. But I was expecting the Steelers to be a much better defensive team. They were not. The New York Jets ran all over them. Justin Fields, 218 yards, 1 touchdown. Breece Hall, 19 carries, 107 yards. Justin Fields, another 12 carries, 48 yards, 2 touchdowns. They got ran all over, 182 total yards, 3 total touchdowns given up. And that was really what made this game so close. And it really felt like the last team with the ball will win. And luckily the Steelers were able to do that. But the defenses really didn't show up. They kind of got trounced. So these are teams that people thought would be better defensive teams. And even the Jets, I didn't make a video about them, but I thought, okay, they could run the ball, stop the run, and win 8 or 9 games, which is still my, that would be my prognosis, is that the Jets will probably be a much improved team from last year when, between 7 and 9 games, run the ball, stop the run. I did not expect him to get 32 points this first game. I hope Rodgers keeps it up. Yeah, listen, I think he can. I don't know to this clip. He's not going to be 4 touchdowns a game. And he's going to have his old man games for sure. Pittsburgh, their defense got to come alive. I keep talking about how most teams are out of whack because they didn't play preseason, and Pittsburgh's defense definitely felt that as well. Metcalf had, you had a good game as far as the receiving. Metcalf had 4 for 83. Calvin Austin III, 4 for 70 plus one of the touchdowns. Ben Scarrett, I don't even know who this dude is. He had a touchdown. Jonnu Smith had a touchdown. Jaylen Warren caught a touchdown. Rodgers still has more tread on the tire. It's fuck the Steelers, as Dipsy said. Yeah, but Steelers, unfortunately, I said if Rodgers gets hurt, this might be the year that Tomlin gets fired. But if he's healthy, which through one game he is, they can win 11 games. I still think so. The Jets, like I said, they're going to be a challenge to teams, but both of these teams' defense got to come alive. You just did get 4 sacks on Rodgers, so there's that. But I mean, nothing else, and nothing as far as picks. This is pass deflected. I think that's what PD stands for. Then Sauce Gardner got a couple pass deflected. Yeah, that's what PD stands for. So no picks for either team. I just you think these teams are going to be better defensively than they are. I keep saying, and I'll say it probably for the next couple weeks, how teams not playing preseason really impacts the first few weeks. And it leads to just a false sense of security. Last year, the Saints won a couple of games early. The Bears were a good team early. And then you go through the rest of the season, it's not the same. Even the Broncos the opposite way. The Broncos lost the first 4 games, and then Bo Nix finally comes alive, and then they, a playoff team. So it's like that first 4 games, I don't want to say it means nothing because they still fucking count, but the teams are going to be in a weird zone those first 4 because ever since COVID, nobody wants to fucking play their players. Expected a blowout. You didn't expect Pittsburgh to win. Honestly, watching the game, I thought the Jets were going to win, and then I think it was one more play. I can go back to play by play and see exactly how it played out. So, yeah, it was 31-32. Then they had to punt late in the game, and then they got the field goal, and then the Jets weren't able to come back and win. That's what it was. Couldn't watch the paywall with no cable. Was it Go Stream East or StreamEast.ga? I totally think you should boycott paying the NFL. I totally am for piracy. I believe you couldn't watch a paywall, no cable. And then if you want to there's I got a free thing for as well. What is that shit? YouTube TV gives you like 3 weeks for free if you want to do that. But and the StreamEast.ga, and I shouldn't do. Is it StreamEast.ga? I'm trying to think of the actual StreamEast link. Hold on. Go StreamEast.link. So go StreamEast, all one word, .link. And then you'll have everything you need. No, stop. But you might deal with the bots. But yeah, go StreamEast.link. That is your answer. Because I listen, man, I'm not paying this fucking crazy amount. I'm not paying. It costs over $1,000. If you want to watch every NFL game or have access to every NFL game, because you won't be able to watch it, it's literally over $1,000. And that's not an exaggeration. And think about how jank Sunday Ticket is while we're at it. I know I'm never going to get a sponsorship with any sports thing because I talk my shit. You have to. It's like 8 payments of $30. It's only on for 4 months. It may be a extra week. It's 18 weeks. It's 18 episodes a year, and you can only watch one game at a time. So you got to skip through, or you get to pay. You get the Red Zone. Again, only 18 episodes a year, right? Only 18 episodes of Red Zone a year, and that's $15 or $20 a month, something like that. Yeah, NFL on YouTube is crazy expensive. Yeah, oh yeah. I canceled immediately, but I still get the next couple weeks. It's like $82 a month. And that's just the base package. If you want to add more games, that's more than that. Who the fuck do they think is going to pay this? Long term, the NFL is going to fuck itself because they're going to have so few fans. Just talk to Zame. Do you like football? No. The youth already don't fucking like football as is. So now nobody can afford it. Nobody's going to see this shit growing up. By the time Zombie's my age, no one in his generation is going to like it. And no generation after is going to fucking like football. And then these assholes are going to try to extort some poor municipality. Hey, can we have $500 to $800 million of your tax dollars so we can build a stadium and profit? No, motherfucker, because nobody likes football anymore. Because you charge them $1,000 a year to watch a game, and only the most bougiest and richest motherfuckers can even afford that shit. So the past 20 motherfucking years, nobody's watched a fucking game. Nobody gives a fuck. So that's what's going to happen to the fucking NFL long term. So fuck them. Is it $600 a year? I saw something that said it was $1,000 a year. It might be, maybe there's because of some of it is, and that's not just one package, because you have, maybe it's $600 a year for what's the shit, Sunday Ticket, but Sunday Ticket doesn't give you every game anymore, because you have the Thursday night game for that's the only thing I have, and that's because I just like buying shit on Amazon. So Amazon Prime, I don't even watch the Prime ever, except the Thursday night games every now and again. So you get the Thursday night games. Later in the season, Netflix gets a few games. Peacock gets a few games. And so every game is not just by Sunday Ticket. And I think ESPN gets some guarantee. Oh, yeah, they get the Monday night games guaranteed. No commercials, $600. With commercials, $500 a year. So you got to get all these other streaming services. So whatever it is, it's close. $600 a year is still a lot, and that's not worth it. And then you can't get commercial-free Red Zone anymore. You can't get commercial-free Red Zone. Red Zone used to be commercial-free. I was going to get it thinking this would be the last year it's going to be commercial-free because they got bought by ESPN. Still not commercial-free. So I said, fuck it. I'm not going to give you that. It needs to be boycotted. And you know what the worst thing? These commercials are trash, bro. These commercials are trash. Trash. They're unwatchable, bro. Because like I said, I did do the I did the free free trial NFL or YouTube TV, which still is a mess. It's $82 a month. I will not be renewing. But I just did it because I just didn't feel like I work on Sundays. I didn't feel like dealing with all the pirate shit. I'm like, all right, I'll just do this shit right now, real quick, just so I can watch the first few weeks. And dealing with these commercials, I have to mute every time because these commercials are so I don't know if they think we're brain rotted because of TikTok, but these commercials are horrible. They're all trying to get you to remember them, but I forget all of them. I just remember being in discomfort watching them. I can't stand the fucking commercials, man. If you want football to keep going, they need to add taller seats around the necks of the players and have one team called the Tallest. Yeah. Chicago Tallest, Skibbity Dallas. Yes, yeah, that's what 15 off Amazon, 15 Peacock, 15 Paramount. Yeah, Paramount has one. 15 for whatchamacallit. 82 is 984. So greedy. It's just crazy. Crazy. All for 4 months and 18 episodes, 18 weeks. For 18 weeks. plus playoffs. And the playoffs is a little bit more available. But even then, the first few weeks of the playoffs, some of those games are going to be on Netflix. Some of them are going to be on Peacock. Some of them are going to be on Paramount. Just a mess. The streaming services are not going to work. We're just going to pirate it. People are not, and long term, not just for sports, but everything. We're just going to pirate it, man. Because that's what we're going to have to do. Because the shit's too expensive. It is. That's just the fucking honest to God truth. You know, another thing that bothers me, and this didn't used to bother me when I was younger, but now I can't help but to see it as social engineering. How, you know, a lot of the commercials that they play are sports related, and they just want you mindlessly cheering at football. I do like football. This is a football show. I've put a lot of football content, partially because I don't want to talk about politics. I'm just so sick of talking about politics. I'm like, all right, past couple months, we'll talk about sports. But just like I did the video of some of the bullshit with sports, I posted the clip of how that fucking referee wasn't a lone referee. I'm still going to talk about the bullshit that's going on. But they just want us mindlessly cheering and just paying and just like we're just drones, like we're just worker drones. We're just gonna do what they want, and then they associate their brands. Oh, I just yell every time I see football, and I'm just gonna buy Verizon and buy Pizza Hut or buy Pop or whatever the fuck they want, Pepsi or whatever it is. And that's just mindlessly doing. Just Jake from State Farm and yay, I cheer. It's just like, this is stupid. I can't fucking stand commercials. On Comcast, you watch what they tell you to watch. Yeah, it's branded circuses. It's exactly what it is. That's the reason. This is why it's my NFL show. I only a few people watching, but it is what it is. What's my man name? William Cooper. He used to despise sports, and rightfully so. It is a big distraction. It is branded circus, and hell, I'm even covering sports because I don't want to fucking cover politics because that's such a fucking goddamn mess. Comcast Xfinity was $50 a month for a sports package for the NFL only. That's fucking bananas. Again, the NFL is only 18 weeks plus playoffs. And usually playoffs are, except now, are behind the paywall. But, you know, that's changing. But you know what? They want to paywall this shit. They want to destroy this shit because corporate greed destroyed everything. Let them do it. NFL Xfinity exists. They lock most games like the TV networks. Fucking mess. Fucking mess. But that's what they want to do. So once we die out, us old farts die out, nobody will watch the game, and you'll have to come up with some new brand circus. You're already failing with music. Jesus. The fucking VMAs came on. Does anybody know who any of these motherfuckers are? Who are these people? Does anyone watch this? Is Zombie still here? You're the youth, and I think you posted another song. You should play your music. Oh yeah, we'll play it in a second for my beat. Do you know who these artists are, Zombie Man? What's the guy I saw? I guess he's a rock dude. I thought he was a rapper, but he's a Caucasian dude, and he has a bunch of like tattoos or something. He has like a tramp stamp. What is his name? I look up the VMAs. Who do you watch the VMAs? And who the fuck are these people? What is the guy I'm thinking of? I don't know. But yeah, what was the guy? I can't remember the kid's name. I'm looking at these winners. They gave a few old farts. They gave Ricky Martin and Busta Rhymes the Old People Award. Sabrina Carpenter is one of the worst artists, bro. I came across like one of her songs streaming. He said, "No, I have no idea." So nobody knows who these artists are. I came across a Sabrina Carpenter song. There are songs that are more offensively bad. It was so nothing. It sounds like a commercial. It sounds like the music they play in the backgrounds of commercials. I get she's a commercial artist, but no, it just doesn't sound like it's music meant to be consumed by people. It is so generic. It's one of the most. I mean, I was in shock. I get it. Like, you know, I look at the shitty artists from my generation, like Lady Gaga. I don't give a fuck. She sucked. I mean, she can at least sing, but her music sucked. At least there were distinct elements, or like Katy Perry. And again, these are trash artists themselves. I'm not trying to act like, oh, music from my generation is great. No, my generation was the downfall of this shit. So when they were pushing those hoes, it was already downhill from there. But there were distinct things that made those sounds and artists stand out. Where I'm listening to Sabrina Carpenter, and again, I'm only playing the clip, I'm like, what is this? Nothing's happening. Like, it's almost like I play, you know, sometimes I fuck up the audio doing this, and you hit play and nothing happens. That's what her music sounds like. It's complete trash. Do people still keep up with this shit? Because every time I ask somebody young, hey, do you know? No, they don't know. And honestly, I feel like I remember people used to do that to me. Do you know who such and such is? No, I don't know who they are. I don't know what Florida is. Oh, Flo Rida? You know, because again, my generation when this shit started to suck, Flo Rida and what's Mr. 305, Pitbull, some of these artists, these poppy ass artists that sucked. You know, that was. I'm like, I don't listen to this bullshit. So they're listening to Arcade Fire, but or fucking Radiohead or something, or like MF Doom. But yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, fuck the VMAs and a DJ and pedo posture. Fuck them. Sabrina Carpenter. Gosh, she's so generic. She's not even bad. I can't tell. One thing, I can't tell if she can sing because she's not even trying. How many have pledged to Diddy? Well, apparently, you know, if only God knows what happened with that case, only God knows what happened with the allegations, but him and Jay-Z used to allegedly order 13-year-olds to the VMA parties, but that shit got swept well under a fucking rug. But allegedly, him and Jay-Z were ordering 13-year-old girls to come to VMA parties because somebody drove her. And I don't know what happened to that case, just disappeared. That was separate from the case, the Diddy case. So only God knows. And now that it's not Diddy, it's some other new guy. I don't know who's even a new, was it maybe Scooter Braun? Or what's the guy? Benny Blanco, one of these guys. I don't know who's the new, you know, because I don't keep up with the shit no more. So I don't know who they replaced Diddy with. As far as the record exec. You know, it used to be Clive Davis, then for a little bit of Diddy. I don't know who the new record exec that everybody's got to suck his dick just so they could get or, you know what I mean? I don't know who it is. But yeah, virtually Muzak Awards. That's literally what it is. Her shit is virtually Muzak. And for those who don't know what Muzak is like the same. It's music that they play in malls and elevators and shit that's just to be generic enough that you keep doing what you're doing and don't actually pay attention to the music. How many whites sing How Diddy? I don't know. We'll never know. You know, I usually would shit on Tom McDonald Dempsey, but in this case I have to agree because even Tom McDonald, with some of his music, some of the early stuff was not bad. Once he got onto the gimmick, it got almost unobservable bad. But at least there's some semblance of a soul. Like, this is still a human being trying to do this. Rather he's trolling, rather he's just making, whatever the case. A human is doing this, right? This is like not even AI. It's like nothing. It's like nothing is happening. Her name is Flo Rida, Florida. Like, and again, I'm not a Tom McDonald fan. I think some of the earlier music was okay. I remember being on Matt's show and we were playing some. I think it had Roseanne rapping. I'm like, did it have Roseanne rapping or did it have what's his name rapping? I mentioned Shapiro. One of them were rapping. So I'm good. I don't ever want to hear this again. But you know what? I would still take Tom Madonna over Sabrina Carpenter in a heartbeat. I would take Roseanne rapping over Sabrina Carpenter in a heartbeat because at least I know they meant the shit they were saying. It was goofy, it was cheesy, but these were human beings doing it, and they meant the shit they were saying. I don't even know what's going on in Sabrina Carpenter. It's like listening to your teacher. John, you will relate to this the most, being the youngest. When you are in high school and you have that first period and you have a boring first period and you're still waking up and you almost don't remember, you just autopilot it. That's what her music sounds like, man. It's a true rap. Yeah, Ben Shapiro rapping. I'm good never hearing this shit again. Oh yeah, I'll play since I've already I got this. Not sure if this is the link you're talking about for my B. We'll get back into the NFL. I've already went off the rails. Well, I'll give Tommy Craig some material and no one else. Is it? Yeah, that's the new wave though to be prolific like that. And so I gotta give him credit for that to keep dropping shit. And again, I'm not his target audience. I don't really need my politics in rap form. I need, but whatever. Hey, I still as an independent artist do respect it. I respect, because as somebody who's trying to be independent myself, it's not easy. For your girlfriend, okay, let's play it. Cold, man. Pretty cold. Fucks with it. I fucks with it. That's Zombie Man for my B. Maybe you spell it with the number 4. Then my B with the letter. I don't know. It's pretty cool stuff. Pretty cool stuff. See, I did my ranting. My rant. So, it is my stream. So what did we stop? I think the Jets. We talked about the Jets losing to the Steelers. How many more games we got? Jesus. All right, we got a few more games. Giants and Commanders. I did pick this one right as well to go back to gloating, but I got to get – we'll get to where I got wrong. Where are – they're not on this list. These are the screenshots of using the app that I use. Here we go. They're here. Yep. So, yeah, I didn't pick the score, nor the score. But I picked Washington to win. This is a pretty obvious win. Washington has a lot of stuff going on. They got this Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, a.k.a. Bill, who a lot of hype in the fantasy football community over the past few weeks, past month. He was a guy that I forgot what college he played at. It was New Mexico or something like that. And he had an NCAA violation, which meant he didn't play last season, and that caused his draft stock to drop for him to be a 7th rounder. But when he got into camp, he played so well they ended up trading Brian Washington, and rightfully so. This guy had only 10 carries, almost 100 yards, 82 yards, and a touchdown the first game. Granted, I know the Giants aren't much, but they do have a pretty good defense, at least defensive line. They were able to get a few sacks as far as the Giants, but Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt played well. Then they got Austin Eckler, and they got Deebo Samuel, who had a rushing touchdown. They got an interesting offense now. I feel like last year Jaden Daniels had to do a lot of heavy lifting. I mean, he still did this game, right? 233 yards through the air plus a touchdown, 68 yards on the ground and 11 attempts. So he's still doing a lot of rushing as a quarterback. But now they got these. Deebo is kind of a gadgety player. I mean, he was a receiver, but he can get some rushing yards for you. Austin Eckler is a running back that can get more catches and passes for you. And then you got a guy like, now if Ja'Cory Cross-Merritt is who everyone thinks he is, and like a hidden talent. Now you got a solid running back, and of course you got Terry McLaurin. Now you got some offensive pieces around Jaden Daniels. And shout out to Deebo Samuel. A lot of people thought he was washed. He's still a younger guy. How old is he? He's only, he got drafted in 2019. He's only 29, I guess 29, 30. Goodness, it's starting to make me feel old. People born 96 are almost 30. Jesus Christ. But yes, it's 2025. What the fuck? Not 2015. Wish. So I could have bought Bitcoin back then. As far as the Giants, Malik Neighbors had a pretty good game, 5 for 71. Nobody caught a touchdown because nobody threw a touchdown. Russell Wilson didn't throw a pick either. 2 sacks, 17 for 37 is horrible. But a lot of quarterbacks were horrible. He didn't score a touchdown now that I look at it. Running-wise, nobody did anything. Russell Wilson was still the leading rusher. He's getting a lot of blame, but, I don't really think, there's much around him. He do have Malik Neighbors, but outside of that, Cam Scatterbo, everybody wanted to do well, but he only got 2 carries for -3 yards. And I like Cam Scatterbo. I think throughout the year, he, a lot of people expect him to be one of these rookies that have a lot of production. He'll be a split back. He'll be a guy that gets a lot of receptions as well. But because nobody plays preseason, everyone's still working it out. Only 2 receptions for 12 yards. So, that's the theme of the week. Nobody played preseason. Nobody's sharp. Everybody's just putting up jank numbers, and teams are just squeaking by with wins. That's what pretty much happened. That's the story of the week. There are a few exceptions to this, but that is the story. Let's see what else we got. Okay, Panthers and Jaguars. I thought the Panthers would be a much improved team. They look like the same old Panthers. I don't think much of the Jags. I think the Jags are still trash. And even if you look at, both of these quarterbacks are on the hot seat, especially Trevor Lawrence. Sunshine from motherfucking Remember the Titans. I can't tell you a quarterback that's just gotten extended love for no reason. He played poorly, but this team won. 19 for 31, 178 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Didn't get sacked, I'll give you that. Travis Etienne basically won the game for him, 16 carries, 143 yards, no touchdowns. They did get Brian Thomas Jr., looks like, to get a rushing touchdown, which you would think he'd do it more as a passer or as a pass catcher, which he really didn't. A lot of that went to the tight end, Britton Strange, 4 for 59. Hunter Long caught the only touchdown that Trevor threw. So Trevor Lawrence really wasn't shit. But Travis Etienne was, and so the Jacksonville Jaguars win. Bryce Young definitely wasn't shit, but Chuba Hubbard wasn't, so they lost. Shout out to Chuba Hubbard, who is on my fantasy team, doing a whole lot of nothing. He did catch a touchdown, right, and got a just about 100 all-purpose yards, 3 for 32 as far as receiving, 16 for 57 as far as running the ball. If he did a little bit more as a rusher, maybe they would have did a little bit better as a team. Rico Dotto, 3 for 12, so he didn't do much either. So really the story of the game was Travis Etienne and him running the ball at a pretty high clip, and that being the main difference between these two bad teams. I don't think either of these teams are going to make the playoffs. I thought Carolina could have been a middle-of-the-pack team. Maybe they will be, but Bryce Young looks just as bad as he did early last year. Not as good as he did late last year, which a lot of people were hoping that momentum for late last year would carry on. He just doesn't look like the guy, and honestly, I don't think Trevor Lawrence looks like the guy. And speaking of Travis, I meant to say Travis Hunter. Oops, going the wrong way. Did he do anything? Going back to that box score. Travis Hunter, 6 for 33. Not that much, but they got him involved. He's a rookie, so we'll see how that goes long term. You don't establish the run game, your passing game will suffer, absolutely. Rushing failures, yeah. And, I mean, that's what you look at a lot of these teams, they didn't really do well with rushing. You're still not seeing too many teams even try to get 20 carries. I don't know, man. Just every team looked a little bit janky to me. That was the story of it. So we also did Titans and Broncos because we skipped ahead to do that so I could talk about Cam Ward. So only a few more games left for the week. 49ers, Seahawks, which I think I got this one right as well. Let's bring up. Is it this? Oops. Oh, this is not working. Okay. Hold on. There we go. Seahawks losing to the 49ers. I did pick that. Let's see right here. Getting no the scores. A close game. 49ers still, to me, have a lot to be desired offensively, though they weren't terrible. I mean, Brock Purdy did throw 2 picks. That's horrible to have in your first game. Christian McCaffrey did have a decent game. 22 carries, a lot of carries. I'm very much worried about him getting hurt from too much usage because he got 31 touches, but he did 31 touches, so you put up a good portion of yardage between rushing and receiving. 22 carries for 69 yards and 9 catches for 73 yards, the second leading pass catcher. Ricky Pearsall was number 1 with 4 catches, 108 yards. George Kittle caught a touchdown. Jake Tongs caught a touchdown. So, really the story of the day is defense because they threw 2 picks. But he still outplayed Sam Darnold as far as his production. 150 yards, no touchdowns. Zach Charbonnet got a touchdown. Kenneth Walker didn't. I was a fantasy guy who avoided Kenneth Walker because I felt like Zach Charbonnet is going to be the long-term pass catcher. And think about this weird stat line. Sam Darnold only throws for 150 yards. 124 of that 150 is Jackson Smith and Jigba, which I'm glad he did because Jackson Smith is one of my starting wide receivers for fantasy. So it helped me out. But, you got to spread the ball around. And, I mean, a lot of this is just keeping the ball. Look at this, 23 attempts. This is why you got to get the carries up. Christian McCaffrey only had 3.1 yards for average, but keeping those carries, they just kept the ball. This is ball control this is some old school offense. This is without really. I didn't watch every snap of this game, but you can look at the stats and tell the story. Is time of possession listed? Because I guarantee you, San Francisco has the time of possession. Let's see team stats. Let's look at the team stats. Possession. They had the ball 37 minutes to 22 minutes. And that's why they win the game. And that's why rushing needs to be valued more. When you run the ball, you hold the ball. It's not just about the yards you get. So endeavoring to have 22 carries, especially when you have a quarterback that already threw a couple picks, that is pretty good coaching, and that's something that's just missing from this game, where just people aren't running the fucking ball enough. because they forget about the value of a carry. They had 36 carries between their running backs. Christian McCaffrey had 22. Brian Robinson, the recent trade, had 9, and even Brock Purdy had 5. So it's just like, man, you gotta fucking run the ball. Between the running backs, 31 carries, and they fucking win the game. And like I said, everybody is I always prefer Smash Mouth. Personally, I prefer running oriented football. I prefer the tougher. Again, I left before the I left when they start. And I'll tell you the teams that did it. It was the fucking Ravens and the Steelers. If you remember, they were really hurting people. And they need to virtue harder to Izzo. They need to put more stuff. I remember in racism, there was a few other things that had those damn end zones. But before it was a political thing. It was just the idea that you're taking away the element of football that we all watch. I know it's a violent game, but you know what? Boxing's violent. UFC's violent, and those are sports. Like, yes, it's violent to see these people hit each other, but that's what the sport's oriented against. And so you wanted to become this. And listen, the quarterback still matters. You still want to see good passing and all that, but that's not all we want to see. We want to see running backs, and they undervalue running the game, running the ball, and teams have almost forgot why you do it. It's not just the raw yardage and touchdowns; it's that time possession. You wearing an orange armband, that's it. Racism defeated. You got to wear the right armbands. Don't wear a red, black, and white one. I don't think that's the one they're looking for. So yeah, man, that is running the ball. A few of these games we've seen running the ball be the real reason why a team wins or loses. But we still have the overly analytical game, and then we got these idiots on ESPN who, because they had the personnel to do it, we had that era with Brady, Breeze, and Manning amongst others, so they were able to sell us quarterback, and everybody forgot about all the nuances in football. Speaking of forgetting all the nuances in football, I keep saying, I got this right, and I still get, of these Final Four games, I split it 2-2. But here's the 2 games I got wrong, and these are the 2 games with my Super Bowl picks, the Lions and the Texans. 13-27 Lions, Packers, 9-14, a little bit closer for the Texans. Let's get into the Lions box score. Jared Goff, 1 pick, 1 touchdown, 4 sacks for 25 yards, it looks like. I still don't know what that second number means. I think it's the yardage. 225 yards, not that bad accuracy, but he did throw a pick. Now, Jordan Love could have thrown a pick. There was a pick 6 that got called back. He also threw a wonderful touchdown that also could have been a pick. It was on double coverage, but it was a touchdown. I said in my video about the Green Bay Packers that they scared me more than any other team in the division. That was before they got Micah Parsons, who did get a sack in the game. Our offensive line looked terrible. It looks like we're absolutely missing Frank Ragnow. I've seen fans say they need to throw whatever dollar amount at Frank Ragnow, who's allegedly already lost 100 pounds since his retirement a few months ago. So he's in no shape to be a starting NFL center. So that dream is done. We didn't re-sign Zadarius Smith. It looks like he's going to Philadelphia. And there was all this hype about Aiden Hutchinson coming back. Aiden Hutchinson didn't get a sack. And I know it's just one game, and I know it's a lot to be talked about. Nobody in the team got a sack. All this talk about this offense, this Russian offense, we got 20 carries between Montgomery and Gibbs. Not good averages. Neither got a touchdown. Sam Laporta had a pretty good game. 6 for 79, no touches. Amon-Ra, this is why I'm scared of him in fantasy. 4 catches, 45 yards. They gave the ball to Gibbs a lot through the air. 10 catches, only 31 yards, no touches. Green Bay's defense was already pretty good last year without Micah Parsons. With him, they're pretty good, man. That's just the end-all, be-all. There's nothing more to say. And, hey, they ran the ball a little bit more. Josh Jacobs, 19 carries, 66 yards plus a touchdown. Then, Jordan Love had a couple of carries. Emmanuel Wilson. Tucker Kraft had a carry. Got a carry from tight end. So 25 overall carries to our 22. But listen, if that pick six goes the way it could have, it was a close game late. Maybe, that it was the third quarter when that happened. Yeah, but I mean, otherwise, man, we got punched in the mouth. And I am worried about the Lions. They have to win against the Bears next week. And we have a tough schedule. Hopefully that schedule softens up where some of the teams aren't as bad as we think they are, because that's what happened the year before, at least to me, or that NFC South last year had a down year, and we were able to capitalize on that. I think the whole conference or the whole division there, this is one of the toughest divisions. Green Bay was 1-5 in the division last year. They will not be 1-5 this year, I can assure you. There's still no number one receiver, but it didn't matter. Romeo Dobbs, 2 for 68. Jalen Reed, 3 for 45. And a touchdown. Tucker Kraft got a touchdown. Matthew Golden didn't do much to star rookie, who, if you remember the draft, they had this fucking WWE entrance for him getting drafted. Only 2 for 16, but it's early, and like I said, all these teams are sharp. Very few quarterbacks went over 200 yards. Jared Goff, ironically, did, but it still wasn't enough. Especially when you throw a pick and get sacked 4 times, and you don't sack the opposing quarterback, and that's supposed to be your earmark and everything. So excited about Aiden Hutchinson, and I'm not trying to shit on Aiden Hutchinson. I'm more trying to shit on this team. I get it. We don't know how to be good. We've only been good 2 fucking years, but there was so much hype out of camp. Oh, this Hutchinson rule where we can't continue plays because Hutchinson's just causes so much chaos on the defensive line. But you know what? You should have fucking played in the preseason. Cause chaos on a real defensive line, because maybe the reason you're causing chaos is because your fucking offensive line sucks because, one of the best players on the offensive line retired, and Frank Ragnow. And I saw fucking Micah Parsons. I know he's one of the best players in the league. I get it. But he one-on-one dominated Penei Sewell. I saw it with my own fucking 2 eyes, and I thought Penei Sewell was supposed to be the best player on this team. It's just like, man, this team has all this fucking talent, and there's so much hype about it. And I think this is the one chance we have to fucking win a Super Bowl in my fucking lifetime. And God, I'd be damned if it didn't feel like, I'm picking them to bounce back. I'm trying not to overreact, but something fell off, man. Something fell off. Green Bay's a good team. They win a lot of their home openers. I know we've been dominating them for some years, but shout out to Green Bay. Give them all the credit in the world. Give Jordan Love all the credit in the world. I say he was a dangerous quarterback because he takes throws that other quarterbacks are afraid to take. He didn't have to do much because of the running game. Jared Goff, man, and then this play calling. There's another thing. We got a new offensive coordinator. I think Ben Johnson, we're getting to him shortly, is a bit overrated as a loss, but you know what? It was an impactful loss. And here's my other Super Bowl pick. And yes, I am a homer who's from Detroit, who lives in Houston, and that's why I picked the Lions. And Houston would both have remarkable teams on paper, except for their fucking offensive lines. And I know a lot of teams are going to struggle with the offensive line. C.J. Stroud, man, it went from, and listen, I don't think he had a quote-unquote sophomore slump. I think he had a lot of injuries around him, but we're going to start wondering, was he a one-year wonder if he doesn't put up better numbers and do better soon? This team has a Super Bowl-capable defense, which they still proved. They only gave up 14 points to the Rams, who are going to be one of the better offenses in the league. I think we're a top 10 offense last year. Despite what they thought more of a passing offense, they still held the rushing to less than 3 yards a carry between everybody. Kyron Williams had 18 for the Rams for 66 plus a touchdown. Puka Nacua got off as a receiver, 10 receptions for 130 yards. But Matthew Stafford, he had one of the better games, 245 yards. Got sacked a few times. No picks, though. 1 touchdown, no pick. C.J. Stroud, no touchdowns, 1 pick. Nick Chubb had a blast for the pass to have 60 yards on 13 carries. They didn't really use him much. They didn't really use Woody Marks much. They didn't really use Dameon Pierce much. Probably been nice to run the ball a little bit more. Probably could have ran the ball a little bit more because it was a close game throughout. And again, that's a lot of times it's just calling it up and just having the balls to keep running is a huge factor in getting, is a huge factor in a lot of these wins, especially the first week. C.J. Stroud did have 5 carries for 32 yards as well to help himself. But then the receiving numbers are just pitiful. Nico Collins, this killed my pay. I went 5-1 in fantasy, but my one paid league, I got 2 paid leagues, and I split them in. And the paid league and the league I lost the first game was because C.J. Stroud is my quarterback and Nico Collins is my receiver. I thought I could stack things. They scored touchdown accounts for both. But now if they don't do shit, they both suck, then I'm fucked. And that's what happened to me, and that's what happened to the Texans, man. Nico Collins has to play better. C.J. Stroud has to play better. I can't get too mad at this defense except maybe giving up too much to Puka Nacua. But you still did get a sack from Toa Toa, a sack from Will Anderson, a sack from Fatou Kassiri. I'm not sure about his name. Toa Toa even had a tackle for loss and a pass deflected, so he played, and a hit on the QB. He was playing pretty good. Aziz got a few tackles. Lassiter got a bunch of tackles. They played solid defensively. It's not the defense. The team to 14 points. And shit, how many yards they get? Just under 300 yards of offense. Or just about 300 yards of offense. Man, you did pretty good. You know what I'm saying? You did pretty good. I don't know what to ask of you as a defense. There's enough players on this offense. You got to outscore 14 points. If your defense gives you a good team under 20. And you play against a good team under 20, you got to win that game, man. You got to win that game. Granted, it was on the road, but we'll see. I think both of my Super Bowl teams will bounce back this week. We're getting close to the end of this, and then, what time is it? Getting close to the end of the stream. So, all right. Where are we at? Ravens and Bills. I'd missed this game because I was too busy crying after the Packers beat the hell out of the Lions. I just fell out asleep. I can't help but to feel like both of these teams, even though Bills are my backup AFC team, I currently have Texans and the Lions. If not that, it'll be Bills and the Eagles. So those are my two sets. I know having two sets of Super Bowl picks is kind of weak, but I mean, odds of me getting it right is fucking impossible. So of those 4 teams, I think we'll get the Super Bowl, but it doesn't look like it because even though the Bills did win this game 41-40, it's a 41-40 point game. You cannot have that much faith in this defense. I know they were going against one of the best offenses, but 40 points is 40 points. I don't know if I would say both teams come away probably thinking, we're going to just lose in the playoffs to the Chiefs, aren't we? I think the Ravens, it's a little worse. We're going to lose to the Bills again in the playoffs, aren't we? And if you're the Bills, you're like, we're going to lose again. We go against the Chiefs. That's what's going to happen, isn't it? We're going to do all this. We're going to go against the Chiefs and lose. You can't help but to think that if your team gives up this many points, gives up this much yardage. I mean, it was a great game for the people. Derrick Henry, 18 carries, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, showing he still got it at 31 despite all the carries he's got. Lamar Jackson got 6 carries for 70 yards for a touchdown rushing, 209 yards passing, 2 touchdowns passing. Did get sacked a couple times, but, balled out. Only 14 for 19, so he didn't throw the ball that much. Again, run the ball, kids. So they got did a lot of damage rushing. Zay Flowers had an incredible game, 7 for 143 yards. So he, going back to that centricness of one player, 209 yards, 143 of them to one player. So there was the Zay Flowers show. He got a touchdown. DeAndre Hopkins is back from the dead with a touchdown as well. So plenty of touchdowns, not much defense. It was 1 sack from the Baltimore Ravens, 2 sacks from the Bills. Josh Allen, the QB1 of the week 1, 394 yards, 2 touchdowns, did get sacked. Also had 14 carries. Not that good as far as yardage, only 30 yards, but 2 touchdowns. James Cook only had 13 carries, still got a touchdown. Keon Coleman had a crazy game, 8 for 112 and a touchdown. Dalton Kincaid caught a touchdown. Just a crazy scoring game. A lot of people involved. But again, you got to look at both teams. It's like, man, these defenses ain't good. And they're not going to get good. And, Ravens traditionally had a good defense, but last couple years hasn't been as good. You would like to think Buffalo has a better defense than this, but you got to be worried when you get to the playoffs if you're either team. Are we going to have the same fate that we faced year after year? And, of course, my division – the games. I forgot that. I picked the last couple games right. I was wrong about Detroit and Texans. I picked those wrong, but the last couple games I've picked correctly. So I picked Buffalo over Baltimore, and I picked Minnesota over Chicago. Did get, like I said, the Houston and Detroit wrong, but I went 11-5 overall. 11-5. So that's how I did, and then we'll pick the games for this week real quick, hopefully somewhat quick. And let me just check. Anybody on shit? Oh shit! There was somebody talking on Twitch. I'm sorry, bro. I use I stream on YouTube. I'm so sorry, brother. I stream on YouTube. This is L Chat Interaction. I'm so not used to motherfuckers on Twitch saying anything. I only had a bot on Kick. I'm sorry, bro. How far along? I'm gonna pin it because it is an L Chat Interaction. It's 12:29. Oh, so you ain't sitting that long ago, so you might still be here. So yeah, I'm on YouTube, and so that's why I rarely. Nobody usually watches my Twitch, and then I had keep it G. That's the thing. I've been keeping it G. I had the Colts. Because I said, so I made on my, now that you're here, hopefully you're still here. I'm about to talk to you anyway, whether you're here or not. So, I've been, throughout the stream, the screenshot of my picks from last week, for this week. I had the Colts. Ignore the scores. Yeah, you are here. Yes, you roomiest. Nobody usually watches me on Twitch. I simul stream these to YouTube. So, I did episode last week. I did my picks, and I screenshot the picks. The scores were made up because this, when you pick a game, and I don't know who I'm going to pick, but if I pick Washington, they just make up a score. I can actually change the score, and we'll do that because I'm about to do picks. But anyways, I picked the Colts. Oh, sports betting. I don't want to do it. So the reason I picked the Colts, I also made videos on my YouTube. I had the Colts as a surprise playoff team. I don't quite think that. I think they'll be above 500 because I think people keep shitting on my man Danny Dimes, and it's really the whole organization. I think the whole way the NFL set up, they get so quarterback happy. They blame the quarterback for everything. And when the organization is fucked up as the Giants, you think that this quarterback sucks. But we keep having this happen. Look what happened with Darnold. Look what happened with Baker. Look what happened to a lesser extent with Geno Smith or Jared Goff, even though that was a little bit on him. But we keep having these quarterbacks. They look shitty in one place, but they go to another place. They get some good teammates around them. They look a lot better. They're not developing quarterbacks, and we're not having good analysis. The sports betting. I ain't go. See, that's the thing. I can't say I don't bet because I done put money on I done put some money on fantasy football. I don't pick against the spread. I mean I could, but I just don't because the spread is a different. I pick outright. I pick outright winning and losing. Picking against the spread is too much for me. Cause that spread is the devil, bro. That spread is the fucking devil. I'm about to get let me go over the Chicago game. See JJ McCarthy. He had a terrible game, but it mattered when it mattered. He threw a pick six and then clutched up from that point. Only 143 yards because the rolling thing is Houston Bucks, who you got. We'll get to that soon. I'll get to my logic. Caleb Williams. I think this is another guy who they're giving a lot of shit to, and I don't think the Chicago Bears are that fucking good. I mean, they did a lot more offseason. Their offensive line has improved, but I still don't think DJ Moore or Roman Dunze or none of these guys, they're not really that good. DeAndre Swift, he's okay. You know what I mean? I think their offensive talent is not that great around him. Cole Kmet, it's just a name. Like, these guys are just okay. Maybe Colston Lovely ends up being sweet. They didn't do much with him. 2 for 12, 3 for 68 for DJ Moore. And I see, hey, shout out to Drunken Poet, and I need to keep up with the YouTube. Zombie Man's still lurking. The Vikings did not lose. I know there's a lot's been made. Vikings were about to lose, but they didn't. The Bears lose. I don't know. Listen, I know a lot for both of these teams for good reasons made with the LGBTQ community. Caleb Williams paints his nails. He's the quarterback of the Bears. Vikings have male cheerleaders who like tight ends. We're leaving that out of this. We're leaving that out of this. You don't know what happened next week? Oh, yeah, man. That's what I've been doing the whole stream. I don't know. You can go. It's going to be on YouTube. So if you want to see what I think of the stream, let me see if I can find the link. And I'll post it there. I say I'm going to stream to YouTube. I've been talking about sports. I talk about anything, but I've been trying to talk about some sports because politics that got so fucking wild. So I'm not talking about this shit no more. I give the fuck up. So I just said I'm going to start talking about sports. So I've been talking about sports. I got to make a video on Bud and Canelo, which I think is a grift. But I think that link should take you. Yep, it takes you to the Bud. YouTube. The video will be there. You can see what I thought about everything, what I got right, what I got wrong. I went 11-5 with my picks, but my 2 homer picks, because I'm from Detroit, but I live in Houston, they both doing me wrong. Man, Let's just get into this shit. So actually, I said Washington, week 2. I hate to do it, but I think Green Bay's going to win. And hell, maybe even by this score, 28-21. I'll keep the score as it is. I think Green Bay is going to win. They had Houston, all they did is beat up on the Giants. They got a lot of dynamic stuff. Or not Houston. Washington, all they did is beat up on the Giants. They got a lot of dynamic stuff offensively with Deebo Samuels and everything. But Green Bay, they might be the best team in the North. I hate to say that as a Lions fan. Micah Parsons made a difference. He's only going to get better as they go along. He's another one that didn't really play much in training camp, didn't play at all during the preseason. He's only going to get better the more he fits in with Green Bay. And Washington knows all too well about Micah Parsons. So, plus they're at home. Man, I want to pick Washington because I don't want to be right. I don't want this to be the case. I want Green Bay to lose, but I don't see it happen. The Baltimore's going to run over Cleveland. It says 31-26 now. Like 31-10, man. That's not going to happen. And then Saints. Let's go. I can go down Saints. I'll pick San Francisco. But not by much. Maybe 21-17. I'll pick 21-17. I'll tell you why. Even though, listen, Spencer Rattler didn't throw a pick. You still got Alvin Kamara. You still got Chris Olave. You still got Cam Jordan. I just feel like, you know what it is? San Francisco still has a better defense. Even though I'm not sold on them as an offense, they still rely a lot on Christian McCaffrey. I thought they would use Brian Robinson Jr. a little bit more in the run game because to me where CMC is most valuable is in the passing game, especially at this point in his career. So there's always the chance that Kyle Shanahan overuses CMC and gets him injured because that's what he's Purdy and Kittle was hurt. Oof. Kittle, he's gonna do smelling salts and somehow make it on the field. What has surprised me at the Saints played better than you would think in that first game. I mean, they still lost against Arizona. I'm a stick with this. I still think they got enough defensively to slow down New Orleans, and I don't think New Orleans is as good of a defense. And between Brian Robinson and CMC and what's the receiver, Jawan Jennings, like they should be able to generate enough offense. The Colts, let's go to the Colts. Colts Broncos. I like both of these teams. You know what, man? I'm about to shock the world. Fuck it, Colts again. Ain't gonna be on 30. It's gonna be a close game. 17. I go low scoring game. 17-14. Bo Nix didn't look that great. He didn't look that great at the first game of the year. And they were just going against the fucking Titans. Now, I know the Titans did have a better than you think defense last year. But it's like, man, if Cam Ward had an NFL team around him, they probably lose that game. So I think the Colts, listen, I'm picking the Colts to still be a competitive team. It wouldn't, Denver is still getting ready. They'll probably be a better team long term. And this might have a playoff implication because these are the teams that are going to be competing for the wild card to me. Between them, the Bengals, a bunch of other teams. But I think the Colts, I've been saying all offseason the Colts are going to be better. Speaking of the Bengals, they should fucking wax Jacksonville like 20, maybe 35. I like if Cincinnati Bengals, they got to come alive one of these weeks. I think Jacksonville is not enough competition to stop them. Giants, Dallas, Houston. I'll go. You say Houston and Steelers. Let's do that then. Who we got? Houston, Tampa Bay. I am obligated to pick Houston because they're my Super Bowl pick. They could absolutely lose to Tampa Bay, though. I'm going to just do it. 21-20. I have no confidence in this pick. Like, if you talk about gambling, I would not gamble with me picking Houston. I think they are going to win. I want them to win. They're my Super Bowl pick. Tampa Bay is a weird team, too, because, last year, if you look at their record, they were beating teams like the Lions and the Eagles and then get swept by Atlanta. They have a weirdness to them, too. I'm gonna go bullish. Houston's at home. It's the home opener. Honestly, man, if they would have just ran the ball a lot more, they could have won the game against the fucking Rams. I'm like I said, I'm obligated. I'm gonna go with Houston. You said the Steelers. I have no problem picking the Steelers right here because I think the Steelers are a good team. I thought Steelers are another surprise playoff team that I have. It's 25. I know it's probably score got me and go 14. I don't really see it in the Seahawks, man. They'll probably win 8 games just because they do have something defensively. But, man, I don't believe in Sam Darnold. We'll see. All these offenses, the whole league is still in preseason the first couple weeks because they didn't play preseason. So none of these teams are fully formed. There's no way of knowing which team is going to get to its truest form first. But in theory, Pittsburgh should have a good defense. They got waxed by the Jets, even though they still won. But defensively, they just got ran all over. Speaking of which, Jets Buffalo is not an easy pick. But going back to Pittsburgh, and I'll maybe pick that next. Yeah, I think Sam Darnold's ass too. I don't buy it. I don't believe the hype. I think it's a 1-year wonder. I think we're looking at the Vikings as much as we talk about the whatchamacallit situation. I'm sorry, I'm not watching the fucking whatchamacallit YouTube. Okay, YouTube is just Forbidden Ruin and zombies lurking, which I appreciate. You a Vikings fan? No, what I was going to say is the Vikings have a good team. As much as we were joking about the fucking cheerleader thing. The Vikings have a good team, though. That's what we're realizing. Again, quarterbacks are, I don't want to say they overhyped. That sounds crazy. But, like, there's a reason Vikings were able to win and have so much talent around them. And cheerleading thing is wild. Yeah, man, they try to as we be joking around, football is gay. That's what the NFL said during Pride Month one of these years. Football is gay. Yeah, that's wild shit. That was the LGBTQ bowl with what's his name? Caleb, and then they had the cheerleaders. But Vikings got a good team. And Sam Darnold was able to capitalize because they had a good team. Now he with Seattle. They got a mid team. And he's not going to be as good. You know what I'm saying? And shit, I kept talking about how even though everyone was talking shit about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets, Aaron Rodgers still had top 10 yardage, top 10 touchdowns. And I think the Jets, they're the Jets. They've been a shitty organization. Even though this year I think they're going to do decent. I think they'll win 7 or 8 games. Could they beat Buffalo? They could, but I don't think they will. I'm cool keeping this 24-17. I like the Jets. There will be a scrappy team because they'll stop the run and run the ball, which that's what they're going to be good at, but I don't think they're going to be good at much else, unfortunately. This is going to be interesting. Dallas and the Giants. I kind of think both of these teams suck. I'll pick Dallas. But I don't think they're that good. I think they're better than the Giants, though, especially at home. But I don't think they're that good of a team. Yes, they do got those 2 receivers because they have George Pickens and they got CeeDee Lamb, who played a great game outside of dropping the ball 4 times in the fucking fourth quarter. Till that fourth quarter hit, he was having a great game. But he dropped the ball a bunch. But at least there's offensive identity. Russell Wilson's washed. It's a matter of time for Jackson Dart gets in. Cam Scatterbo needs to pick up. I mean, a lot was expected of him as a rookie. Tracy is not that great. Malik Neighbors is still solid. He said Dallas and both of New York is ass. Yeah, great team, rookie QB. You slapped the 49ers across the chest. I don't think they're a Super Bowl team. I think people just love the 49ers, man. A lot of people were like, oh, man, Super Bowl team. Here's the thing. Look at the coaches, the roster. They got a huge – man, from – I hate to say this shit. I'm a Lions fan, right? LGBTQ squared. We were supposed to have 2 good receivers, good tight end, 2 good running backs. Looks like the Vikings have that shit. We got a good tight end, 2 good running backs, 2 good receivers. Obviously, Addison suspended. And shit, even when the way JJ looked, man, I know his numbers weren't that good. I know he threw that pick 6. There was a moment that comeback, and then he threw a ball to fucking JJ they both JJ, Justin Jefferson that he dropped, and it didn't mean shit. He just kept going. That focus. Man, I think y'all actually got the quarterback. Y'all been, dicking around. Y'all had Kirk Cousins for years. Y'all had Sam Darnold this year. I think y'all finally got the fucking quarterback. If the Lions don't win the Super Bowl this year, we're not going to win it because our division is going to be too good. Because the Vikings are going to be good. I don't know about the Bears. I think the Bears are overhyped. But the Vikings and the fucking not 49ers, the Vikings and the Packers are not overhyped. They're really good teams. And I don't know that we're going to be able to do what we've been doing the past couple of years. I don't even know if we're going to be able to do it this year. I am frightened about the fucking Lions. I'm not even going to lie. Missing on QBs. Oh, yeah, overpaying the shit out of Kirk. Missing our best lineman. Yeah, y'all got the line is better. Every part of this team is better. Don't forget to check kick. What's on kick? Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, I appreciate you hitting me up on all 3 platforms. Yeah, you said don't you check kick. So, yeah, but no, the Vikings did not lose. Called it the Vikings. Yeah, they got to do something about that fucking the cheerleader situation aside. They got one of the best teams in the league, and they're going to prove it. So, I would did I pick them yet? Against Atlanta, I'm picking them to win. Atlanta's going to have some injury issues. Atlanta's going to have some problems. Drake London is going to be out. It'll go 21-10. Arizona's going to eat off another NFC South carcass, unfortunately for us. Carolina looks like the old Carolina. They're going to have to do, and I hate to, I just made this spiel about quarterbacks, but there are some quarterbacks that definitely have gotten a chance and just aren't going to be good. And I think Bryce Young might be one of them. I got to pick Detroit here. I have no choice but to pick Detroit. I think we will win. We should beat Ben Johnson, who I think has just been so overrated as a coordinator. And I don't think it's going to be a good coach. If look at what is happening to Miami, who I'm going to pick New England in this game, speaking of, and their coach, where they got this offensive genius, and now nobody respects him, and they walk all over this guy. That's what's going to happen to Ben Johnson, where he's this offensive genius. But he's not a real coach. He doesn't know how to lead men, and he's kind of scared of everybody, and he's kind of a pussy, and so the team walks all over him. That is where they're headed, but they're not there yet. For the Bears, it's some of this wishful thinking, somewhat, but some of this is personality matching. And we keep seeing the NFL elect a coordinator, and he's a genius, and then they're fucking not. We saw with Mike McDaniel, the guy I'm talking about with Miami. We see it every few years. Oh, this guy's he's such an offensive genius. Remember Eric Bieniemy? Pepperidge Farm remembers when they kept hyping up Eric Bieniemy. The motherfucker barely was doing anything. They just pick a guy and they just fall in love with him. He's a media darling, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing half the time. And so I just keep seeing this shit happen. Oh, you think I'm bugging for New England? So, okay, I'll do a little bit more talk about that. I don't believe in Miami, man. I don't believe in Mike McDaniel. Yeah, he is kind of a pussy. Listen, Miami has talent. They got A-Chain. They got Tyreek. But another thing, Tua, I think Tua's already fucked. I hate to say it. But I think Tua's already had enough hits. I think he's already fucked as a quarterback. I want him to prove me wrong. I hope he proves me wrong. I really do. I would love for Miami to show they still got that off. Like a few years ago when they put up like 70 or something, like on the Broncos, they were like this explosive ass offense. I would love for them to go back to that. I would love for them to prove me wrong and go back to that explosive ass offense that was scoring touchdowns damn near at will a few years ago. But they just don't look like it. I feel like the whole team is about greed for me. I don't know, man. I think the Pats, now when they get healthy at home, maybe. You might be right. In my head, I feel like the Pats still put a lot into that defense, money-wise. And I just feel like Miami is not doing much offensively. And again, I know the thought, I'm going to stick with New England. We'll see. I could be wrong. I got some of these things wrong. I just feel like because Mike McDaniel's a pussy, because I haven't seen that explosive offense in like 2 or 3 years. If they can get back to that, they would be still a Super Bowl competing team. Because that offense was explosive. Like I said, they put up like 70 or something on the Broncos. They were putting belt to ass. But they just don't. I don't see that team anymore. And I don't know if Tyreek is that. He's 30 now. He's on baby mama 15. I don't think he's that. I don't know if he still has that type of, run away from the whole team type speed anymore. Yeah, he's too much of a pussy for them to be a Super Bowl team, realistically. But they had such a good offense, it just made up for everything when this game happened. Listen, if they win, I remember Rumius told me, or Rumius, I'm not sure which one. He told me, hey, fuck the Pats. We'll see. You could be right. It wouldn't shock me if you're right. Mike McDaniels, man. When everybody's running all over you in the locker room and they're like playing music, they come to play. He acts like he's not the coach. Yeah, like another motherfucker supposed to be the coach. It's like they don't respect you. And they're just like, they come to practice when they want, they do what they want. It's like, are you fucking serious? You should be finding guys, coaching guys, making them run laps. Like you should be, there should be reprimand. But this guy never played football, and you want him to be the head coach because he can drop all these good plays on the fucking pad. You know, a lot of these guys, these coordinators that usually sit up in the press box and they look down and they call plays, and then people want them to become head coaches. That shit just doesn't work. That's just not the same. It's not the same thing. Going back into the few games we got, because I do got to get out of here. We've been 2 hours. And I appreciate you being here, Roomies. It's always cool to have somebody on Twitch. Let me just check Kick and YouTube real quick, since Twitch has been the main platform for the past few minutes. The first of these is going to be pretty easy. Actually, you know what? I'm going to pick LA in both of these games. Tennessee, they don't got a prayer. I'll be lucky. They'd be lucky to win a game. They're going to win like 3 games. That team is terrible. Cam Ward, I mean, I'll put like 27-10. Cam Ward threw the ball pretty well, but all those fucking drops, that team is terrible. And then LA should, beat the former LA, a.k.a. Las Vegas. Because Raiders used to play for LA before they went to Oakland and now in Vegas. I'm cool with 30-17. Now, this is the tough game. What do you think, Romeus? As far as Philadelphia and Kansas City. Because I want to say Philly again, but Kansas City is at home. Philly's defense didn't look – I know Jalen Carter did get ejected for spitting. He didn't look that great, or that team didn't look that great defensively, because I don't really think much of Dallas. Carter is playing. Oh, what's the line? See, that's why I don't fuck with these lines. I'm so fucking afraid of the spread. And you know what's crazy about gambling? I live in Texas. They just did something. There's a loophole because it used to be illegal last year, but there's all these different things. There's some gambling loophole. So Carter is playing. Let me see if I can find the NFL spread week 2, which I didn't pick against the spread because I just don't. I don't want you losing money because of me, man. I don't want you losing money with me, so I got the spread up here because it would be a totally different thing with the spread. Cause see, even this Cleveland, Baltimore, you give you 11 points. The game could fuck around be a 7-point game that was always Baltimore was winning, but it ends up being 7 points. You know how I know NFL rigged? How many times the last few years you will see a team get blown out most of the game, then all of a sudden they score a couple touchdowns just to cover and not enough time to fucking win. That shit keeps happening. That's why this is why I don't fuck with this shit, bro. I don't fuck with this shit because I just don't want to lose money. I got enough issues in my life, but I keep seeing that. See, that's where you would bet. This is one of the traps I'm talking about. You would bet the Ravens-Browns. Ravens blow them out. It's probably 30-11 most of the game. All of a sudden, Browns get a couple late touchdowns. It's fucking what is that? Or 30-10 most of the game. They get a couple touchdowns. Now it's 24-30. They cover the fucking spread. Even though they were getting blown out most of the game. That shit happens all the time. I'm not letting it happen to me. You got to fuck with Vegas, not the NFL. But, like, that shit happens all the time. Like, I can't deal with it. And you said I'm 1,000% right. Thank you for saying I'm right about something. I appreciate it. I'm just sick of this genius coordinator shit. They did the same thing with Ben Johnson for the Lions. Oh, he's so brilliant. He's so brilliant. Well, you know what? If I had Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, Sam Laporta, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Jameson Williams, I think I could get a lot of touchdowns too. I don't know. All these fucking talented players. And they're so brilliant. So the sports better the Chiefs just because of the line. Carter's playing Chiefs at home as underdog. Damn near undefeated plus team in the NFL who usually lose week 1 will win. NFL is WWE, absolutely. They're both sports entertainment. You got to fuck with Vegas, study Vegas money lines, moving and such. And that absolutely is WWE. But I like WWE too, so what the fuck can I say? So what's the line on this game? Where the fuck is it? Oh, only a point and a half. But they're they say underdogs at home. So yeah, I would definitely take the Chiefs just from being underdogs at home. And you're right about that bounce back, because that usually happens as well. That's why I'm hoping for the Lions. I'll take the Chiefs. Let's for the official. We'll take the Chiefs. We'll take the Chiefs. I'll go 21-17. It's gonna be a close game. And who knows? You know that I said my backup Super Bowl team in the NFC is Philly. It wouldn't shock me if we end up Philly and the Chiefs one more time, and they can end with their Taylor Swift proposal or whatnot. Oh yeah, that's nothing. Xavier Worthy is supposed to be out. Where that was the game plan against the Chargers. Feed them. Well, Hollywood Brown will end up having the best game. So, Chiefs plus 1.5 at home. I'll pick the Chiefs. So we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. Been going almost 2 hours. Yeah, he did have some big drops too. I mean, he was the feature guy. They just kept going to him. But be good. Yeah, man. Thank you for being here, man. Check out my YouTube. And hey, I'm on Twitch. I always simul stream, whether I'm doing a game stream, whatever, to Twitch. I just rarely get any action. Pause. Nobody even fucking come to Twitch because Twitch. I've been on Twitch simul streaming since they changed the rules. Because it used to be you couldn't stream to YouTube and Twitch at the same time. I've been streaming on YouTube for like 4 or 5 years. And then when they changed the rules, I changed the setup in OBS so I could stream to Twitch. And no love. Ain't no love in the heart of the city. But I appreciate you being here. This is going to be on my YouTube channel. You can watch it, go through all the picks, go through my thoughts of the last week of games. And I'm going to try to do this every week, either Tuesday or Wednesday at the latest. So I appreciate you, Roomiest or Rummiest, whichever one it is. And sorry if I messed it up. I appreciate the bot and the kick. And I appreciate everybody watching on YouTube and the playback, because people do watch the playback. It's 2-hour monstrosity of a fucking stream. So if you like the video, please like the video. If you're so obliged to share and subscribe, please do that. And even if you do none of these things, thank you for watching. Thank you for your time. I work afternoons, so I'm about to go into work. I will talk to you guys later. Peace.